Conor McGregor versus Manny Pacquiao in 2021. Knuckleheads, welcome to the Fighter's Rep, where we give you free fights, interviews in the fight game, and fight commentary from the mind of a promoter slash lawyer. You know, every once in a while we're hit with the proposal of one of these gimmicky, YouTube-y, celebrity-style fights, especially during the course of this lockdown. And it's either palatable or it's not. We either say to ourselves, well, that's a fight that could happen, and maybe we'll watch it, or we say to ourselves, that's a fight that's not going to happen. It looks like the Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones fight is one of those that's actually going to happen, albeit as an exhibition. And prior to a couple days ago, I was still on the fence about whether a Pacquiao versus McGregor fight was actually going to happen. So, now it looks like, based on a tweet from Conor McGregor and a confirmation from Manny Pacquiao's team, that this fight is actually in the works for 2021. So we're kind of past that first stage where, okay, it looks like it's going to happen. But is it palatable? Is it something the public is going to want to watch and see? I think you'll get many different answers. I think from hardcore fight fans like myself, I'll tune in, but I'll understand that this is not only a mismatch, but this is absolutely a gimmick and absolutely a money grab. And when somebody throws an event as a money grab, you always prepare for the worst. And that's kind of the mindset you have going into it if you're a hardcore boxing fan, right? But fortunately for these goofy promoters that create these gimmicky, goofy fights, the majority of fight fans, the majority of fans in general, are casual fans that will actually be sold on the notion. They'll actually be sold on the snake oil that this fight is a competitive fight and that this fight is the end-all, be-all of boxing matches in 2021. And that's going to be amplified. That's going to be compounded by the fact that you have the biggest star in MMA, whether he's active or not, in Conor McGregor. And I do see, just as a side note, Israel Adesanya kind of surging towards that popularity, but he's not there yet. The biggest star in MMA in Conor McGregor versus one of the biggest stars in boxing history in Manny Pacquiao, and a massive international audience that's going to be tuning in to watch both guys. I mean, I am absolutely sure that Ireland and definitely the Philippines is probably going to be shut down for this fight. So, is there a lot of money to make on this iteration of snake oil? Absolutely. But, the negative that comes with these gimmicky fights, for me, is that all these people are going to be tuning into the sport. And as a promoter who values the longevity of the sport, as somebody who thinks it's important to bring those eyes and to keep them on the sport, I feel like this kind of situation never works, because you get all these people to tune in. They watch a spectacle that a lot of the times turns out to be a sideshow, and you don't convert them into permanent fans. What you do is you have a going out of business sale for a promotion for one day where you make as much money as possible. Nothing is invested back into the sport, and in the long run, nobody wins other than the people that were directly involved, namely, Pacquiao, McGregor, and the promoters. Not to say that it's a horrible thing. I mean, I'm sure some people will benefit. In fact, it looks like Manny Pacquiao saying he's going to donate a large percentage of the proceeds to COVID-19 victims in the Philippines. But I'm talking about the longevity and the integrity of the sport of boxing, which is a sport where, if we're being honest with ourselves, even though it's still red hot, has been severely neglected, and I would go as far as to even say abused as far as reinvestment goes, as far as building a fan base. You know, you can't compare it at this stage, even though it's been around way longer, to the UFC, which always seems to be reinvesting back into its brand and its sport in order to convert fans for the long run. So that's the problem I kind of have with these sort of gimmicky fights. Now, the interesting aspect about this fight that's probably going to give it a little bit more traction with the hardcore fans is, you know, Conor McGregor was a bit competitive against Floyd Mayweather. Okay? And Floyd Mayweather is a better technical fighter than Manny Pacquiao. He's also younger. Manny Pacquiao will be 42 years of age by the time Conor McGregor fights him. That's 10 years Conor McGregor senior. And he'll also be at a significant height and reach disadvantage, right? Because even Conor McGregor was bigger than Floyd Mayweather. So he's definitely going to be much bigger than Manny Pacquiao. And I think that'll be part of the admixture into the snake oil that they sell to the general public. And I think if the event happens, it will probably be a huge financial success. But again, I just hope that they will utilize the platform to promote young upcoming fighters and not turn it into a complete sideshow. That is my fear for this thing. You know, we don't need to be seeing YouTube boxers. We don't need to be seeing celebrities in there. We need to see the guys who have sacrificed since childhood or, you know, their adolescent years into becoming boxers full time. We need to see those guys bear the fruits of this sort of gimmicky snake oil sale. And so I'm hoping, as I always do, that they litter the undercard with young upcoming fighters. Of course, that still remains to be seen. So knuckleheads, my question to you, the question of the day is, what do you think about this fight? Is this a fight that you're going to watch, or is this a fight that you think is a complete gimmick and a waste of time? If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it. Join Knucklehead Nation. Get your Fighters Rep gear in the link below. Shirts, masks, hoodies, tanks, because if you haven't, you don't know shit about the fight game. Finally, I wanted to give my condolences to the Gibson family. We lost a fantastic fighter, a fantastic member of the community in Cooper Gibson, a professional MMA fighter who last competed and won at Combate Americas to an undefeated fighter, no less. Cooper passed away just a few days ago, and it was absolutely tragic for the people out here, especially in Southern California. He was such a great guy, and, you know, I hope we can all remember him. They do have a GoFundMe on his twin brother, who's also a fighter's Instagram page, Chase Gibson. So head on over to Instagram if you want to donate, show some love to the Gibson family. Anyway, knuckleheads, we'll see you soon. I'm out of here.